Why the 3-batter minimum is a huge mistake. Recapping baseball, are you confused by the flurry of major league rules changes, some of which take place this year and some next year? Erase all you need. 3-batter minimum. There's no other way to look at this. This is a terrible rule. For the sake of it's stupid, said one major league manager. It's as if the NBA. Imagine you and a friend are watching your favorite team play in 2020 and one of the relievers just doesn't have it that night. It's the 7th inning. Video by USA Today Sports. Why don't they take this guy out? What do you mean can't? Pitchers have to either face 3 batters or complete the inning. What? Why? The next batter hits a 3-run homer. Remember the key 3-run home run Mitch Moreland hit in Game 4 of the World Series last year? Would not have happened. Roberts replaced Alexander with Ryan Madson. The strategic wheels. The entire inning plays out differently under the new rule. Just imagine it's going to happen if somebody loses a World Series game because they were forced to leave a pitcher in the game, the manager said. The pitching changes that the rule is designed to eliminate simply don't happen enough to warrant putting governors on strategy, especially because these moves generally happen in high-leverage situations. Last season this only helps large market teams like us, said one executive. Simply because worse, left-hand specialists better start planning for life after baseball. This rule is forced. Remember, this rule also applies to starting pitchers. Again, and before you think the opener is such a problem it needed this rule to expunge it, keep in mind that last year the rule would have affected only 5 starts. There were more start limit on position players pitching. Starting next season, you can't bring in a position player to pitch unless it's extra innings or your team is down by at least 6 runs. This is wholly unnecessary and smacks of over-legislation. Player usage. Once you have a rule like this, then you have to add another layer of legislation by actually defining who is a position player, who is a pitcher and a 2 player is, and then leave him in the game as an outfielder 50 times. In addition to his relief work, he's not a two-way player because he didn't start 20 games at a position. Matt Davidson roster sizes. With its 40-man rosters, the limit starting September. Baseball for years has been a joke. Last year, the trade-off to get a September roster limit is adding another player for the first 5 months. 26 active players, with no more than 13 of them pitchers. The upside it made. Baseball in July. Baseball strengthened the 1 month when baseball has most of the sports landscape to itself. Starting this year, a one-day event in which fans will select the All-Star starters from among 3 finalists. Home run derby with more star power. The All-Star game itself, with bonuses going to the winning team to raise the level of competition. The Hall of Fame induction weekend. That is a hard deadline, not a soft one as in the past, because of the August waiver period that now goes away. Mound visit limit. Sure, why not? They have been cut from expanded injured list for pitchers. Teams can't use a revolving door as easily to stash pitchers, effectively creating a 17-man pitching staff out of a 13-man staff. We're looking at you, the fake DL common with pitchers, said one AL manager. We used the fake one trade deadline. The players wanted this rule to try to force teams to spend money in the off-season. Tired of watching? I think the players' calculus is wrong. These general the upside is that a hard deadline will force teams to finalize trades when they are motivated to move a player. You can't defer to, but what you gain in July is what you lose in August. And please don't forcing teams to decide by July 31st whether they are buyers or sellers has a downside. In the wild card, you also legislate against picking up finishing pieces to contending clubs. The Brewers picked up shorter commercial breaks. this year the breaks for national TV games are reduced from 225 to 200 locals go from 205 to 200. That sounds like an okay, you didn't miss the pitch live, but the compromise is you as a viewer will have to accept the inevitability that something big will happen while an ad is playing next to the live, soundless view. And some ads, the next CBA. An upside to these rules changes is that players and owners fought through the toxic climate created by a recalibrate free agency system to come to agreement on some issues. When it comes to the next, but let's see what happens. Agreeing to change it, related slideshow, best photos of MLB spring training provided by M&A.
Raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.